So you came to New York on a tourist visa. How did you make it to the O visa? And for those who don't know, O visa is called the Einstein visa. It's the talent visa for highly accomplished people. So what did you do?
Right, right. So basically, my next journey was to apply for a student visa because, as you said, O1 is an Einstein visa, and it really is like when I was applying for it, it really is. It does feel like you have to tell them that you are an Einstein, and basically that's why you're coming here.
In there.
Right. So I first got it was like student visa. I think it was a J1. You'll know that, but I remember, I think it was a J1 visa where I studied dance at Broadway Dance Center. I was a full-time
Mhm.
student, and I took a 12-month program. I think it was a year program. And then I was like, all right, I'm running out of cash. Like the life in New York is not cheap. And then I didn't want to work because I didn't want to get caught being deported because I was like, I
Right.
want to stay here for long, right? And then,
Mhm.
just in general, I was like, I can't do this program anymore because I've done it for a year. What's next? And then I applied as an au pair. So at that point, I was like, okay, how do I get back to the States? But I have to be close to New York, right? Because
So
sending
you
me
left
as
in the
an oh,
meantime, right?
right. I left in the meantime for 3 months. Like that's one thing I have to say. Like if anyone wants to go through immigration route in United States, never stay in the States illegally. Like make it happen and leave before your status is done because you'll never be able to come back. Um, so at that point, I was making a plan on how to come back, still be in New York, still be present in dance community. So long story short, after about 4 months, I found family in Armonk, which is Westchester, mm, where I lived with them for a year. And then I would
Mhm.
work with kids, and on the weekend, I would take dance classes. Sometimes I would even go like during the week when it was a good class, like I would drive to the train station, go on Metro North, go to the city, take class, and go back. Like it was really dance was my focus. And then that gave me time to start preparing my paperwork, do as many performances as possible in the States because I did not know that for Einstein visa you also need to prove that you are doing something in the States, which I
Mhm.
found very contradictory because I'm like, you're not allowing me to work, right? So I can't legally work here. So how am I gonna do something here and then convince you that I'm good enough that you're gonna give me that visa, right?
Mhm.
So I did, thankfully, especially dance community has a lot of shows, a lot of performances that are not paid, and no one's getting paid. So it's just kind of for like, I don't know, for publicity and marketing of choreographers. So I did a couple shows with a couple choreographers in New York while I was an au pair. And that kind of gave me, I did like also some video editing, and everything was like not paid, right? Because
Mhm.
they couldn't even pay me because at that point as
Right.
an au pair, you have no paperwork basically. Um, so um, so that was the time I was prepping for it, and then luckily one of my friends that I got to know during my life at that point, I was probably in New York for like 2 years on and off. Um, she was leaving back to Sweden, and she had a dance job at this dance studio in Queens. And she was like, "You should take over my classes teaching, and I'm sure the owner, the lady, um, is gonna sponsor you, right?" And I was
Mhm.
like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah, I mean, you can ask her." So at that point, we did this transition of me getting to know her. All right, cool, you're gonna teach. And then I told her, like, would you be willing to sponsor me? Like, I'll pay everything. You're not financially obligated to anything, but I do need a real person in America that's gonna sign this paper for me, like a company, right?
Mhm.
And she said yes. And at that point, it was just me getting all the papers together. So my friend, that I took this job from in Queens, she went through the whole process herself. So she sent me the whole package. She was like, okay, this is how you need to do it. And she got it. So she sent me all these exhibits A, exhibit B, everything that it has to be in this packet. And I was probably preparing for 3 months. That's all I was doing. All the, all the interviews that I've done, all the pictures, all the competitions, all the diplomas, all that I've done in Slovenia. And then everything that I've done in New York, put it all together, send it, and then pray to God that I'm going to get it. And I got it actually, I think, within a month. So, yeah.
That's quick.
Yeah, I got it approved within the month, and then I had to wait to get like everything, like social security, the resident, like you can't travel until you have all your documents. So I think that was the longest time also when I was away from my family, because I was with au pair for a year, and then I was waiting
Hmm.
for that. So I think it was like a year and a half that I haven't been home. So that was kind of
Hmm.
rough at that point. I remember it was like, okay, I need to go home. But yeah, that was basically my O1 journey until I got it.